Assalamu alaikum. It's a pleasure to welcome you all today to this very important national seminar on biological weapons convention and its implementation challenges. Excellencies, esteemed speakers, distinguished scholars and participants, I am extremely pleased to welcome our guest of honor, Nasir Namul Haq, who was Foreign Secretary in my time, and I worked with him as Relations Secretary. And then he was later Foreign Minister for a period of time. I also welcome Nasir Zamir Akram, and he is another colleague from the Foreign Service. We have worked together at various points, including once in Washington, D.C. And then our chairs, Mr. Khalid Binuri, and I also thank the speakers in today's program for having accepted to speak, because this is a specialized subject and requires some preparation. We have Mr. Kamran Akhtar, DG Disarmament from the Foreign Office, Mr. Zawan Abidi, who's worked at the Strategic Plans Division, and then in New York on the Committee 1540, Dr. Zafar Ali, Brigadier Mohammed Auzal, Dr. Mohammed Asif, Brigadier Amir Ikram, Maria Baba, and Fazala Parveen, all of whom constitute a promising set of experts and professionals, and will be covering a broad range of topics from which the audience hopefully will gain some orientation of this entire subject. When, ladies and gentlemen, when we hear the words biological weapons, our mind instinctively goes to an enthralling Hollywood movie in which the bad guys are trying to create chaos in a certain part of the world or achieve world domination using lethal weapons of mass destruction. To my mind, I am reminded of the famous novel of Albert Camus, who laid out the scene of the plague which swept the city and the deaths that started taking place. So that is, the evocation that takes place with this kind of subject. But the prospect of biological weapons use in real life, however, is a lot more sinister and much less thrilling. Their use in the past has resulted in chilling effects on the human population and led the international community to reach an international level consensus to ban the entire class of weapons of mass destruction. The Treaty Biological Weapons Convention came into effect in 1975 and now has 181 member states and 6 signatories, and only 10 states have neither signed nor acceded to the convention. It has its roots, of course, in the 1925 Geneva Protocol, wherein the League of Nations agreed to a treaty called the Protocol for the Prohibition of the Use in War of asphyxiating, poisonous or other gases and of bacteriological methods of warfare. Biological weapons have a high potency coupled with long-lasting effects. They are all the more dangerous because they can be attained with considerably more ease as compared to other kinds of weapons, and owing to the nature of their effects, which are caused by pathogenic microbes, it is hard to trace back to the perpetrating source. They are often, for these factors, referred to as the poor man's weapon of mass destruction. Germany is believed to have used biological weapons in the First World War, and Japan's experimentation with its biological weapons program leading up to the Second World War is believed to have resulted in the deaths of over 10,000 people. Moreover, in 1940, the Japanese attacked hundreds of heavily populated communities and remote regions in China, which caused a plague epidemic. In all, tens of thousands and reportedly perhaps as many as 200,000 people died as a result of these attacks. Ladies and gentlemen, the ease with which the biological weapons can be manufactured or acquired makes them a very hard category of weapons to prevent from proliferation. This is why the Biological Weapons Convention remains a relevant and significant convention in today's time and this period of history. The use of such weapons can turn real life into a Hollywood movie, where the risk of gruesome mass casualties would be faced by millions of people in the world over. But unfortunately, such a scenario would be lacking a superhero savior of the day that fictional works can provide. Despite the significance of the convention and the extent of the havoc that can be created in case it is violated, there exist many issues in the implementation of the convention. One of the most important challenges is that the convention lacks an overarching verification body to police member state parties' activities pertaining to the acquisition and manufacturing of these weapons. This and other challenges will be discussed in further detail by the experts present in the panel in the sessions today. Ladies and gentlemen, international law is meant to keep civilized nations together in an otherwise anarchical world system. The coming into force of the Biological Weapons Convention is deeply connected to international law and the international humanitarian law in particular, in the context of the prohibition of use of indiscriminate force and the principle of use of proportionate force. During the Cold War, both superpowers built and maintained stockpiles of biological and chemical weapons, but neither of the two resorted to their use. Owing to this taboo against their use that has created customary behavior. Pakistan signed the Biological Weapons Convention in 1972, since it first opened for signature, and has been a member party to it since 1974, the year of its entry into force. Pakistan has time and again reiterated its commitment to the prevention of its proliferation. Pakistan has also taken steps to prevent non-state actors from gaining access to chemical and biological weapons. The mechanisms that are in place for implementing the convention on Pakistan's domestic level will also be discussed in the upcoming sessions. In the sessions, the speakers will also explore the various technical, legal, and political aspects of the Biological Weapons Convention and the consequences of its violation in regions vulnerable to the use of these egregious weapons of mass destruction. I will end here, and I invite our audience to two enriching and illuminating sessions in this seminar. Thank you, and I welcome you to this.